My name is Carter Andre-Van Lith. I was born and raised in East Wenatchee, Washington. I was 15 years old. I was either in school or I was doing something for softball. We were in Vegas and my team had gotten invited to come play in this showcase tournament. I had just gotten up to bat and I hit one up in the middle, through second baseline. So I got in a thing that's called a pickle in softball, where you just run back and forth trying to not get hit by the ball. And I dove head first and my helmet cage, it came down and just went into my neck. I kind of just felt my throat just slowly start to get tighter and my breath start to get more shallow. I sat down on the bench and I just kind of tried to, put my hands on my head, drink some water, take some breaths, and then I kind of realized something's wrong. Ambulances weren't really they didn't really realize, how big of a problem it was. And then all of a sudden, my mom was in the back of the ambulance and she heard them yell some crazy code. And so I was starting to crash. They intubated me the minute I got there. I honestly wasn't even sure if I was gonna make it, and my family and nobody else really knew either. When I initially woke up, I had a lot of memory loss. So the doctor was no, it's fine, it'll come back in a couple days, just, this happens with, the anesthesia and, getting hit in the head. And, 3 days went by and nothing had come back. And they were oh, give it a week or so. A week went by and it just kept going. They were just give it a month went by, and all of a sudden we're at 5 months and I'm just not all the way there still. The things I was kind of having a hard time remembering were just my people. So, I woke up with a lot of text messages dude, are you okay? What's wrong? And I just remember being who are these people? So that stuck around for a couple months. The people that I had kind of considered my best friends just kind of got very offended that I didn't really remember who they were. And it was very confusing for them. I'll give it to them. But then it turned into rumors that I was faking it. I feel people just kind of made it into a joke, but they didn't realize that that joke that they created turned into something that flipped my life in a second and in a sense ruined it at the time. I mean, I had never been so lonely in my entire life. I was also dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts. I laid my head down at night and contemplated it, and it was really scary to feel those emotions that I had never felt before. And I just felt why am I letting all this stuff make me not want to exist on the world anymore? I had nothing to live for anymore. I'm sick. I can't do the one thing that I really liked. I probably gained about 60 pounds. It got to the point where I took my mirrors down, was so embarrassed with myself on what I had become. I just didn't even recognize myself. And so I kind of had a meltdown before school one day. I had put some clothes on and I just they didn't fit me. And that was probably the biggest shirt that I had owned, and I was just trying to go to school. I was just far beyond the point of even loving myself in any sense. I hated myself. I was laying on the floor, kicking my feet, screaming and crying, I was unrecognizable. That tantrum lasted about 3 hours. My mom called one of her friends who works in the mental health field. She was you just need to bring her in to the ER, and we'll get her sedated, and I was just in this crazy episode that I didn't even know was possible. So they kind of calmed me down. They finally got me into the hospital, got me sedated, and they had given me the option to kind of go get some stronger help. After I kind of left the hospital that they had put me in for a couple days, it really changed me. I wanted to better myself and get healthy and be able to interact with people again and to make friends and to have friends. And it got to a point where I was I'm alive for a reason. And obviously, I don't know who I am. I'm 18 years old, but I feel I've gotten a pretty good idea on the type of human that I want to be. And I think that that's where it has to start, is figuring out the type of human that you want to be. People need to have empathy for each other, even if they don't understand. Everyone's gonna go through stuff, and it's just because it's not the same thing that you're going through doesn't mean that it weighs any more or any less. Everyone's story is unique and different to their own, and that's one thing that I've learned through this journey, is that my story is different than anyone else's.